Joining me now is Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. Alcatraz reopening as a federal prison. I know you're not a big fan of this, and you are vowing to fight it.
Yes, I've said that with stiff competition, this is the stupidest initiative they had put forth. Here we are at a time when they're taking food out of the mouths of babies to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. They're taking millions of Americans off health care because they said they need the money for their big tax scam to add nearly $4 trillion to the national debt. Now they want to spend money on converting Alcatraz back to a prison, which will cost billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. The reason they closed it is because it was too expensive to run 60 years ago. And now they're going to spend billions of dollars to open again, add to the cost, instead of having it as a revenue source to the National Park Service. I don't know. I guess the motivation, the intellectual resource for this president was a movie he saw decades ago. That's what they say.
Well, you've mentioned that there's this legislation in the House that would transfer Alcatraz out of the National Park Services to the Department of Interior. This would require significant legislation to remove even its environmental protections. Who's behind that bill? And do you even think there's a possibility of a pathway?
I don't even know that there is such a bill yet. It would require legislation. The president thinks he can do everything executive order, but it does require an act of Congress. If and when we see such legislation, we will fight it very much. And it has many aspects, and you wisely point out the environmental aspects, which are congressionally mandated and would have to be undone by the Congress of the United States.
Republicans have control of both houses of Congress, the White House. You're going to need bipartisan support to block this from happening. How confident are you that you can do that?
Well, let me just say that we're going to litigate, we're going to legislate, and we're going to communicate with the American people about this, especially in the Republican districts who should be ashamed of this. This is, again, undoing what Congress has done, and they should respect the institution they serve in. So we'll be fighting it. But as President Lincoln said, public sentiment is everything. With it, you can accomplish almost anything. Without it, practically nothing. But for public sentiment to prevail, people have to know. And people have to know that this cost, in terms of Alcatraz, in terms of opportunity cost, losing the money that is coming to the Park Service now for running it, as well as the opportunity cost for, they cut food out of the mouths of children. I mean, Alcatraz is important, but feeding our children and health care for millions of Americans, that's urgent. And they fraudulently put themselves forth as fiscally sound while they're adding trillions of dollars, nearly $4 trillion to the national debt. And now they want to spend money at Alcatraz because the president saw a movie 4, 5, 6 decades ago that's his intellectual resource.
Well, so many people are saying it's just impractical, even the status of the island right now, all the work that would have to be done, bringing water in, electricity, everything. But this would put his political power in the middle of the bay. Do you think that's the point of the White House move for this?
I don't know. It sounds like he's planning an Elba or something. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing in the middle of the bay. Actually, the federal government is in the middle of the bay at Alcatraz. They should take pride in that instead of turning it into a prison. It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. Now, when I say stupid, I say with stiff competition for other stupidity that they have put forth. But cruelty is another thing, and the cruelty to the children and all that, cutting the funds at the same time as they're cutting funds from the Education Department that the Supreme Court, cowards that they are, have said the president can, for now, undo the Department of Education. And California will lose billions of dollars in terms of education funding for the children. And who are these children? They're children with special needs. They're children from economically deprived areas, poorer children, Title I. There's it's so sad. But what do they care? They just care about rich people. They have high property taxes in certain communities, so their schools are better. We don't have to worry about poor children. We have to fool around with Alcatraz.
What do you think is going to come of it? I mean, they're visiting here,
Nothing.
Alcatraz
Nothing.
today.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. I think they're wasting their time. I think that they have to start being smart about what they are prioritizing. And if there's so many opportunities, look what they're doing at the same time today, while they're spending billions of dollars on Alcatraz, they're taking money from National Public, from NPR and all of that. And that serves rural communities more than even urban communities. Rural communities, their base hurt. Same thing with Medicaid. They'll be closing rural hospitals in red states, in red districts. What do they care? All they care is about the wealthiest people in our country and whimsical notion mongering on the part of the president, who's putting gold stuff in the Oval Office and demolishing the Rose Garden. I mean, really, what's he become, an interior decorator or something like that? That he's going to go to Alcatraz now and work his, well, I was going to say wisdom, but that's not a word we use with him.
Yeah, well, we're closely following the visits that's happening today, and we do appreciate your time to get your input on it as well. Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Laura. Bye-bye.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.